Hi everyone, welcome back. It is the weekend, long weekend, and I didn't really do much today. I woke up late, I went to do a workout, and then I had to run an errand at Walmart. I actually had to pick up another fat external hard drive for all of the footage that I now have because of this channel. So I'm really hungry, and I'm going to show you how I make these delicious breakfast tacos. I know it's like 4:30 in the afternoon right now. It's really late to be eating breakfast tacos, but I'm hungry, but I'm not that hungry, and I'm gonna be eating dinner in a little bit, and it just felt like the perfect meal for me as of right now. So let's go to the kitchen and let's make some breakfast tacos. Sorry, buddy. Hi, buddy. I think he hears like the planes. There's so many planes in the air right now, and I think it's like weirding him out. He's like, what is going on out there? Oh, buddy. Yeah, you little cute boy. You little cute boy. Oh, look at this cute little buddy. Look at the cute little buddy. Look at the cuteness. Say hi, buddy. Say hi. I usually do about 2 eggs, so just 1 egg per taco. And I'll usually make this in the morning, like maybe around 11, maybe 12 o'clock sometimes. I'm not like a really big early breakfast type of person. And I'm just gonna add some of this citrusy garlic seasoning from Trader Joe's. It is the best. It just adds the perfect seasoning for literally anything. I use this for seasoning meats, I use it for eggs, and it's just perfect. And then I like to add a little bit of heavy whipping cream or oat milk or just whatever milk I've got on hand. I just so happen to have some heavy whipping cream right now. You don't need a lot, but this just makes the eggs a little fluffier. See, this is super handy. I'll link it in the description below so you can take a look for yourself. It's on Amazon. It's just so handy for saving counter space. We've got our jalapenos. Sorry for all the airplanes. I don't know how people really film content out here. There are literally cars, motorcycles, airplanes, pretty much whatever you can think of, just always outside. It's impossible that it's 100% silent outside, but I guess that's what happens when you live in a big city. One of the things I love about West Hollywood is actually that it is a city, but it's still not like as busy as maybe Hollywood or downtown LA. So it's like city mixed with suburbs. I would say it's like city mixed with suburbs because there's a good amount of people that live here. There's still a lot of restaurants and shopping and all that stuff to do here too, but it's just not, at least I think it's just it doesn't feel like San Francisco or Chicago. Like West Hollywood definitely feels like a little suburb outside of Los Angeles proper. So I've lived in West Hollywood for about a year, and I have really grown to just love the people that live here. It's mostly young people. I would say it's mostly young professionals that work or they just, like to party a lot. This apartment building that I live in actually, when I was first moving in, I was asking the leasing manager, like, oh, who typically ends up living in this building? And he was like, mostly young working professionals, but also a lot of people whose parents just pay their rent for them. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like an LA place to live for sure. Okay, and I think we're getting close. It's pretty fluffy. So funny. I've never cooked on camera before, so I'm just so used to like in my head just thinking, okay, it's just getting like everything that I'm verbalizing to you right now is stuff that goes through my head as I'm cooking. So this is really funny. Okay. And because this is going in tacos, I like to mash up the eggs pretty well just so that they're in little bite-sized pieces. That's it. To keep it pretty simple and straightforward, I'll add a little bit of pepper. And I think there's enough salt from the seasoning, so I'm gonna pass on the salt. Add a little bit of freshly ground black pepper. Hi, buddy. Enzo's off camera, just trying to figure out what is going on. He's like, Mom, you cook all the time, but why is this light and camera now in the picture? Like, do I need to be jealous? Is this someone else that's taking up your time from me? Is this someone else that I need to be jealous of, that I need to have a word with? He is so selfish with me and my time. If all my attention isn't on Enzo, then there is definitely something wrong. Something wrong with the picture. And I like raw jalapenos because I like the crunch, so that's why I didn't cook them in the eggs. And then I like adding the eggs separately so that, or I like adding the cheese separately so that it just like melts onto the eggs. I know, I'm super bougie. And so I'm also going to be using this hot sauce that my friend dropped off. So it's by Hugo the Foodie. He's actually a member at the studio that I teach cycling at, and he has his own salsa matcha company, and his salsa matcha is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh my God, how cute. He actually left me a little card. Christina, thank you for your order, and to know you love my salsa matcha. Enjoy it. Hugo the Foodie. Yeah, you got to check him out. Hugo the Foodie on Instagram. And I'll link him down below for you also. And he's so cute just with his packaging. Like if you live in LA, he actually dropped this off at my apartment last night because I told him that I really wanted it with my eggs. And he was super cool about it. And he was like, yeah, of course I'll bring it over. I mean, highly doubt he'll do that for anyone. But because he was in the area, he was like, Christina, I'll just drop it off. And then it comes in this like nice little like tissue paper wrapped packaging. Oh my God, I can't tell you how good this salsa matcha is. If you've never had salsa matcha before, bro, you gotta get on it. It is so freaking good, especially with eggs. I'm gonna put this together right now and grub in. Grub in? You mean dig in? Yeah, check out his packaging. It's so cute. So salsa matcha, it is perfect in tacos, eggs, breakfast tacos, burritos, pretty much anything you would want to just add a little bit more flavor and spice to. That's where you'd use salsa matcha. A few more things I have to do. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of sour cream because I have sour cream in the fridge. I'm not really a macro counting gal. I just eat what feels good or what tastes good. I just eat what tastes good. And I work out about 6 days a week. So I know that I need the calories. I know my body needs the calories. I probably could do a better job of counting my macros, but I don't like to live like that. I've done it before. I've used those food tracking apps like MyFitnessPal and all those. And I think it's good for short periods of time. Like if you want to know where you stand in terms of your calorie intake, or if you are trying to shred or you have specific fitness goals. But I think just on a day-to-day basis, I mean, there's no way you can just record your food for the rest of your life. I mean, unless that's what you journal about, which I do want to do a video on journaling and how to go about doing that, since a couple people have been asking for that. So now I'm going to go into this salsa matcha. Yeah, I try to, because it's pretty much like soaked in oil. I just go for the actual chili. Yeah, the actual chili. I'll post a picture of like what this looks like. This is, seriously, I make the bougiest food. Like if you spent a day with me and you saw all the food that I ate, you would be impressed. And you know, I think I will do a what I ate in a day video, and you can really see how the level of bougie I get when I make my food, because I'm just cooking for one person. So why not pull out all the stops and make it the bougiest thing you've ever seen, right? I'm not that bad. I mean, it's not like I have special china or anything. What is it, sweetie? Enzo's so curious. He's like, Mom, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, I've got some pretty fancy and spicy taste buds. So let's get a quick photo, because I'll probably end up posting this in the video. Yeah, after doing food photography for a good amount of years, I've finally figured out the right angles. Going with the salsa matcha in there. Gonna get this out. Yeah, it is a process for sure, but a good process. Okay. Finally, so now I'm gonna eat these tacos. I'm so excited. I'm so hungry. I'm drinking. This is such an amazing drink. I got turned on to this when I was at a wedding. It is Shasta Zero Sugar Tiki Punch. So it's 0 sugar. And the first time I had it, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh, this is really good. How much sugar is in here? And they're like, there's no sugar. I look at the bottle and sure enough, there's no sugar in it. I couldn't believe it. So now the caveat is that they only have it at like the 99-cent store. So you have to go make a separate trip to go and get this soda, or you could just order it off of Amazon, I'm sure. But I don't know. I like getting food from the store. Do you guys ever buy food on Amazon or anything like that? I haven't really gotten into that yet. All right, so I kind of roll it up like a burrito just because it's easier to eat and, you know, and I'm talking to you guys, so oh my God, I'm so excited. So much. Get divorced. I'm living at home, and I briefly mentioned this in my first video, but the one thing that would get me out of bed was running. So I would go to my high school's track. I would run on there. And I was really just doing it as a way to get out of bed and to feel better. So I was doing that, got into SoulCycle, and I started riding and running and riding and running. And then I start losing not a ton of weight, but I think for me and for my body, it was a lot of weight because I was really skinny. I was really skinny. I was putting on a little bit of muscle, but it was like skinny muscle. You know, I was just lean. And so I lost all this weight, and I had done it in not a healthy way because I wasn't eating a lot. So I was naturally in a calorie deficit, and I was working out a lot. So I was following the steps that a trainer or a nutritionist would probably prescribe to someone, but mentally I was not doing okay. You know, mentally I didn't have the right attitude towards food because when I was skinny, I thought to maintain my build, I had to continue with the diet that I had, which was not sustainable. It was, I think I had like a protein shake and a salad a day. That was all I would have. And a SoulCycle class is 45 minutes and it's high intensity. It's cardio and it's also strength-based. So you're doing all of this crazy movements. And without talking to my doctor, I was just kind of doing it. Thankfully, I was, 30. So I was young, and so that was okay. But I didn't have, I didn't understand nutrition, and I didn't understand, what my body actually needed for nourishment. So, come 2021, 2021, we're 1 year into the pandemic. I'm living in LA, and I'm about to start teaching cycle classes again because I took a little bit of a break between the time that I moved and moving to LA. So I hadn't been teaching for about a year and my body was out of shape. I felt like I had gained maybe about 10 pounds or so, and I didn't have really the background or the knowledge on what was appropriate to be putting into my body for nourishment, for fuel, and to help me lose weight. And so I wanted to learn. I was like, how do I learn proper nutrition? How do I learn how to give myself what it needs while maintaining this lifestyle of, keeping fat off of me? And I've noticed that it all comes from little changes. So for example, the tacos that I'm eating right now, I'm using these low-carb tortillas. So they're really high in fiber. If you looked at the packaging, I think it has 20 grams of carbs, but then it has 14 grams of fiber per tortilla. So the net carbs are 4. So it's considered low carb. Um, I've just learned little adjustments like that. Usually when I cook Indian food and it asks for yogurt, I always use Greek yogurt, higher in protein and lower in calories. So it's little things like that. Still learning every day, obviously. You know, I'm not a nutritionist. But when I was studying to get my NASM certification, nutrition was a big part of it. And that's where I learned kind of the importance of like energy, you know, ATP, and what foods we can eat that's going to yield more energy, you know, that we can use in the gym, that we can use in our day-to-day lives. In terms of what I eat now, you kind of saw when I was putting the taco together. I don't skimp out on things like, I mean, I don't usually have sour cream, but I made tacos about a week ago, and I made beef tacos. And anytime I do ground beef, I always do cheese, lettuce, jalapenos, and sour cream. It's just so good. So I got sour cream for that, but usually I don't have it around. But I mean, I'm not going to waste it. You know, I also don't like wasting food. So I always try to, if I buy something, then I know, okay, I'm going to be eating this at least for a hot minute. So in terms of my workout regimen now and my nutrition, still working on getting it better. I work out 6 days a week. I work out 6 days a week, and I do a combination of cardio, strength, stretching. I would count that as a workout. It's not, you know, like I like to count stretching as a type of workout or movement because it's so necessary. If you are a athlete or if you're someone that's just in the gym a lot, recovery is so important. And the reason why you want to include recovery in your workout regime is because you recover so that you can work out harder next time. And I've noticed so many times when I'm stretching, the next day, it's easier for me to do a squat, or it's easier for me to add resistance on the bike because I can actually feel it more. Because when we don't stretch and when we don't foam roll or really let the muscles recover, they tighten up. And that's when we develop aches or we develop strains, or that's when the body just develops this inability to really move the way it's supposed to move, is because it's really tight. But yeah, I love food. I love food. I mean, there are certain things that I like definitely don't buy. Even when I'm baking, I never buy margarine. I stay away from margarine. In terms of meat, I don't like lamb, so I don't buy lamb. I don't like goat. Yeah, I'm really simple when it comes to meat. I'll do chicken, I'll do salmon, I'll do whitefish, and I love steak. I haven't really cooked with steak though because I'm not good at cooking it. I need to learn how to get good at cooking steak. Maybe I'll learn on a video. Maybe we can learn together. I love tofu. So there'll be days where I just don't feel like cooking. And I'll just get a block of tofu, cut it up, and then just throw it in a salad. And oh, a great hack that I saw is when you are busy, but you want to eat healthy, go and get a bag of salad from the store, dump out the entire bag into a bowl, and then you can get like a block of tofu, a little bit of chicken, or if you have any like leftover meat, cut it up and just throw it in, and that's your dinner. It's like those bag salads, you know what I mean, that come with like the different types of leaves, nuts, dried berries. It's perfect. I tried that the other day and it was perfect. I was full and it was a really easy, healthy meal to make. My favorite food? I love Mediterranean. Mediterranean might be my favorite, but on my deathbed, if I could have one more meal, it would 100%, 110% be In-N-Out. I know I would probably get tons of shade for this, but In-N-Out is just such a feel-good, comforting meal. I would get a cheeseburger with chilies in it. Well, first, I'd get a cheeseburger that's mustard fried. So when they are making the patty, they add mustard to it. So it just makes the meat a little juicier. So I get mustard fried, add chilies, add raw onions, and then the burger's good. And then I would get fries, and then I would get a black and white shake. So it's just half chocolate, half vanilla. It's just, so good. That would be my dying meal. I know some people would be like, oh, steak and whatever. I would want In-N-Out, fight me. So things that I keep in my apartment at all times, always have eggs on hand. I always have eggs. It's really easy to just whip up eggs for breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's a really, really versatile protein. You can do eggs and rice, eggs in a burrito, sunny side up. I mean, there's just so many things you can do with eggs. And then Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. Usually cottage cheese. I'll always have cottage cheese, and then I'll have it with either half a bagel or I'll have it with a Rice Krispies cake. And then what works really well is if you take some of this salsa matcha, drizzle that on top with a little bit of honey. It's a perfect snack, really high protein also. What else? I'm kind of looking around. Always stocked up on protein powder. It's a really easy post-workout thing to have on hand also. Always have protein powder on hand. What else? So I get all my meat from Costco. I shop at Costco, and I get those really big packs of chicken breast. And what I'll do is I'll put it all in the freezer so it lasts a while. And then every time I want to cook it, I just take out one packet, let it de-thaw, and then I season it like usual. But it's like $25 for 6 packs of, I think it's usually like 1.5 chicken breasts per pack. So it's a really good price. And then you get 6 packs of those. I mean, you do the math. It's pretty good. Beans. I always have beans on hand. Chickpeas or garbanzo beans. I've really been liking butter beans, to be honest, to make just like really quick and easy bean dishes. It's like a Americanized version of chole, but I'll take butter beans, I'll grind them in the food processor, half of them, and then the other half, I'll put it back in the stew, take the beans from the food processor and add spices and then chicken broth just to kind of thin out the beans a little bit. And it's a perfect dinner. High protein and really easy to make and budget friendly too. Oh my God. I'm so full. I think it's because I've been like really taking my time eating this because I'm talking and I'm eating at the same time. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm really full. I would have been done with this like 20 minutes ago. Oh my God. Yeah, I always have hot sauces around too. Now, I try to get, like when it comes to sauces and condiments, I always try to get stuff that don't have a lot of additives in it. I mean, obviously you can't help it sometimes, but if you can, like salad dressings, for example, I try to always make sure that it's like the base is olive oil or lemon, or make it yourself. Salad dressings can be such hidden criminals because you think, oh, I'm eating a salad, it's super healthy. But unless you like really read the nutrition facts, that's how you know as if it's healthy or not. So I always, try to choose something that, yeah, has either lemon or olive oil as the base, or I just make it at home. Honestly, I love making homemade salad dressings. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. All right, one more bite. It's also like one of the perks of living alone is that you can literally make whatever you want. Nobody's there to tell you if it sucks or not. You get to figure that out on your own. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. So I was 28 when I was married, when I first got married. Ah, so satisfied. I was 28 when I was married, and I was such a little kid. I didn't really have any time to really learn how to cook, to really learn, like, oh, these are the staple dishes that I know how to make really well. I mean, my 20s, I was, like I told you, I was going out all the time. I was, if I was at home, I was making like pasta. Like, I wasn't really cooking anything. Even like if I really thought about it, like when I was at home cooking, I didn't have time, between it's like anyone in their 20s. They are, they go to work, go out with their coworkers, they probably go to happy hour, they're drinking, they're partying, they're having fun. When are you supposed to learn how to like cook and how to make wholesome dishes that, yeah, like taste good and you've perfected it? It takes time. And I think when you're in your 20s, especially like in the United States, I can't speak for other countries, but when you're doing all that in the United States, I don't know. I don't think you really start learning that stuff until your 30s. And the reason why I now am interested is because I prefer to be at home. Like I'm a homebody, Even with my work, I generally work from home. So I'm at home so much more. So it only makes sense that I now have learned how to cook things and master things. Because when I was married, like I could make stuff, but I didn't feel truly confident in making things. There was maybe one dish that I felt really confident about making, and I didn't need to refer back to a recipe or anything, and that was keema curry. And super easy dish that I make. It's probably one of my staples. It's probably one of my staple dishes. And I make it with beef, actually. I grew up eating it with turkey. Like my mom would make it with turkey just because it's so much healthier to eat in turkey. But typically keema curry is served with lamb. It's served in lamb. But yeah, I don't like lamb. And turkey is just way too lean. Like you take a bite into it and it's like this meat tastes like it's been dead for way too long. Like this just tastes dead, Like it just isn't good. But beef at least has a little more fat in it, and so it just has just amazing. From door to door, it takes me about 15 minutes to make tacos. What takes the most amount of time is chopping up all the vegetables. So if you just got the vegetables pre-cut, all you do is you just take your ground meat, throw it on the pan, add a little bit of salsa, some taco seasoning, and you're done. That's literally it. It's such a quick and easy meal. I love quick and easy meals, if you couldn't tell. And this one's not quick and easy, but it's one of my favorite dishes to make because it's just so good, is pasta carbonara. I love making carbonara. It's cheesy, it's meaty, it's just got all these amazing flavors. It's really simple too. It's just a little bit of a process to make it. But it's one of those things where it's just so satisfying when you're done because it's so yummy and just like, it's just comforting for the soul. Like that's just the kind of pasta that you would want someone to make for you all the time. Or you make it for yourself. What else? What else do I like making? I mean, those are kind of like my favorite dishes. I like making palak paneer, but again, that's also a little bit of a process, when you're cooking the curry and then you got to cut up all the paneer and fry it. So it's like a two-step process and then you just create a huge mess in the kitchen. But I enjoy making that too. One of my goals for 2024 is to cook more Indian dishes. So I already know how to make a pretty good amount of them, but I have to go through a recipe. So I got to look at the recipe. So my goal for 2024 is the same way I make my keema curry, where I can make it confidently without any reference to a recipe, is I want to learn how to make more Indian dishes without recipes, like without looking at a recipe. So where if I went to the kitchen and someone came over for the first time, they're like, "Oh, like you're gonna cook dinner," and it's like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna make chicken 65." Just pulling that out of the rabbit hat. And maybe we'll just whip it up and put it in the fridge, let it chill for an hour, take it out and cook it. I never looked at my phone or a recipe book one time. That would be the goal, is to learn how to confidently make another Indian dish this year. I might go to the Grove later. Grove is this like really fancy shopping mall in LA. It's not as fancy and elite as you would think. Like, I mean, I'm a local and I've been living here now for a couple years, so now I can say that. But I remember before I moved down to LA, I thought like, oh my God, the Grove, that's where all the celebrities go. I'm like, bro, that's where all the tourists go. Like, that is literally just a tourist hub. Every time I go there, I'm like, dude, these are all just people that are probably even just from out of town, they're maybe from like, West Covina or even San Diego and they're just visiting town. But yeah, locals say hi, buddy. So Enzo absolutely hates being held. He just feels like it's just against his male ego. He just cannot be held for more than like 10 seconds. I know I'm already past my threshold. He's like trying to figure out a way to get out of my grip, but he's being a good boy. Are you being a good boy, buddy? Yeah, he's a good boy. Oh, what is it, buddy? What is it, buddy? Oh, oh, ow. Stomach.